Welcome to the course tour for WDD121 Internet Design and Development. We were honored in 2020 to be awarded the Blackboard Exemplary Course Badge. The course was developed by myself, Jessica Ogley, who has been an adjunct instructor in computer science for over a decade and the instructional technologist for eStark State, which is Stark State's online learning division, and Kathy Eisen, who's a full-time instructor and the course coordinator for the web design courses for computer science at Stark State College. When we initially designed this course, it was for us to use, but over the years, this course has become a master course, which means anyone who's teaching internet design and development copies it into their Blackboard course environment and teaches it the way we've developed it. So all students have access to the same course materials and the same assignments. This ensures everyone gets the same education on this course. It's a foundation course, so we find this extremely important. This was also really helpful in March of 2020 when all of our courses went online because of COVID, because every faculty member had already copied it and the students were accustomed to seeing the materials in the assignments. Everything moved forward without any kind of hiccup. The course uses Quality Matters as our standard for design. All of our courses at Stark State College actually do this. This course has also been peer-reviewed, and we passed the peer review on the first round with Quality Matters, which is something we're extremely proud of. So all our courses at Stark State use a standard navigation, as you can see on the screen. This is helpful because students know where to go when they get in a course. They always have a Start Here page, a lesson page, announcements that tells what's important for the week, the course calendar with the due dates, the My Grades page, and so on. This makes it super easy for our students. That way they're never guessing where their lessons are going to be for a class. All of our courses have the same template. Again, this makes navigating easy. For each week, students get an overview, a materials folder, and an assignments folder. I'm going to show you those items now. When a student clicks on the weekly folder, the first thing they see is an overview. It explains a little about the lesson we're going to cover for the week, what they need to read and review, and the assignments that they're to tackle this week. The second thing they see is the learning objectives. It shows the course level compared to the weekly. I'll cover that a little more in detail as we go through this presentation. Then they see the materials folder and the assignments folder. In my welcome video, I always instruct them that they start with the materials before they ever enter the assignments folder. So let me show you what our materials folders look like. First thing we have is we always have a note about what materials are required and what materials are optional. This helps the student know exactly what they must do. The good thing with this too is if a student says they didn't watch something and it's required, you can say, well, did you not see that note? An open conversation with them about navigating the course. Each week has an introduction lesson. This explains what they're going to learn for the week. That way there's no questions exactly why they're learning it or what it'll look like in the end. In this particular class, I have all of the materials in categories to make it easier. This class has a lot of videos and reference guide. It's a coding class, so a lot of my students like to be able to watch a video and work along with it to see how their website comes together. They also get reference guides. That helps me reach different kinds of learners. My auditory and visual learners really like these videos. Some of my other learners prefer to go through the step-by-step tutorials and go through the tutorials in their book. I've created materials that reinforce what the book is teaching them. That way, no matter what learning style they have, they're able to learn even in the online environment. If we click on one of these reference guides, you'll notice that there are videos that are all embedded. They never have to leave Blackboard to do anything. That's something I think is really important in course design is if we can keep them in the LMS, they're not trying to navigate and accidentally closing tabs. So they would just click on the video to go ahead and play it. And then any reference guides they have are up under attached files. Also in the materials folder, there's a PowerPoint for each chapter. This is something my students really like. It helps them outline the important elements of the chapter. And I'm hearing a lot of them say lately that they print them and take notes along with my videos on them. That way they have a full series of reference items as they're designing. So then each week we have an assignments folder. We divided our classes into weekly folders. That way they're not searching through one big folder with all the assignments for a class. In the assignments folder, we use a series of different kind of assignments. One great thing about Blackboard is there's so many different assignment types. Like you can use discussions, tests, and drop boxes. Some weeks I actually have all three in. So the next item that makes this a quality course is that it has student engagement in all three forms. It has student to content engagement. There's video tutorials throughout the weekly lessons that the students complete. The book also has written tutorials that they can complete if they would rather read and work along. And then there's case studies that reinforce what they've learned while either doing the video or book tutorials. It also has student-to-student engagement. This happens in discussion boards in the class. There's a couple discussions like where they introduce themselves, and then they do peer reviews of each other's portfolio parts. This is something my students have commented on, that they really like being able to see each other's work and tell them what they like about it and making suggestions for improvement. The third type of engagement it has is student to instructor engagement. Blackboard has some really great tools for this, such as using Collaborate Ultra for office hours. I use it a lot with my students, especially my working students that can't meet with me at the college during the day. Then there's the announcements feature. Announcements are great because it can be the first thing your student sees if you set it as a point of entry, and you can tell them exactly what they're to do for the week and the due dates of assignments. And finally, the Blackboard assignment reminders is another great feature that can be used for student to instructor engagement. If you set your due dates in Blackboard and you go into the gradebook, you just locate the assignment and click on the chevron. There you can click the option Send Reminder. It automatically sends a reminder to any students who have not completed an assignment. Since I started using these, my submission rates for homework on time have gone way up. So another thing we believe makes for a great class is giving students a great start. Have a good welcome announcement with a video. My welcome announcement always does a tour of the class. That way students know what to do every week when they get into the class. I also include an explanation of the syllabus. This class is an intro-level class, so some of my students have never been in college before, and they have no idea the importance of a syllabus. So I cover all that in video on the first page of the class. That way they can't go any farther till they've at least seen it. Another great part for giving a student a good start is having a strong Start Here page. Let me show you what ours looks like in this course. The first thing on our Start Here page is always a basic description of the class they're taking and telling them how many weeks the class is divided into. This is important because at Stark State we offer 16 and 8-week classes. We don't want any surprises for a student who thought they signed up for 16 but actually signed up for an 8-week. Then if we continue down, this class is a Quality Matter badge because it was peer reviewed. Then there's the welcome from the instructor. This is one of the most important things you can put in a class. That way students understand who you are, why you're qualified to teach the class, and what happens in the class. During the Quality Matters review, one of the things that was suggested to me is to tell students how to address me. I prefer them addressing me by my first name, so I explain that here. And then I tell them that we're all equals. I explain my point of view as instructor of what I mean by that and how we'll address each other by first name. I also tell them how to contact me, a little bit about my work experience, and my hobbies. Finally, I provide them some pictures. Reasons I do that is I want them to recognize me if they're on campus in the hall and they need to stop me and ask me a question. I also show them pictures of my dogs because I want them to know, just like they are, I'm a person, I make mistakes, and if they have an issue, they should feel free to talk to me. We also include on our Start Here how the class runs. That way they understand that there will be weekly folders every week they're expected to review and homework to do. Other items in our Start Here folder include our class and master syllabus. I always include my class calendar with my syllabus. That way, hopefully, they will print the whole thing and have all the class expectations, the information on their book, my contact information, and all their due dates. We then have the information on the book. That way, they know exactly the ISBN and the edition they need of the book. We find this really important. That way, they know up front there is a book required for the class. We have our expectations, our netiquette guide, how to communicate online. That's set standard by the college. I really like that because that keeps the class knowing that we need to be respectful to one another and their expectations on how they write. I've got information on how grades are determined. That way there's no questions how many points are in the class and what they need to do to get an A. I have a need help. This takes them to the college resources such as tutoring, help desk for technical support, and counseling if they're struggling with personal issues. It even has a link to our food pantry. That way, whatever our students need help with, they know there's a resource in the class to help them. Then there's some videos that they're to watch, and that helps make this particular class easier. We have the accessibility and privacy information. That way they know anything that they are clicking on the class is not going to send their data outside. And I have the required software and technical skills. Because this is an IT class, there's specific software and technical skills they must have. I have my virtual office. As I said before, I love Collaborate Ultra. It's a fantastic tool to use for virtual offices. It makes it a lot easier for my students who either can't get to campus because of work schedules or daycare, or maybe they need really early meetings like 6 a.m. because of the hours they work, and the campus isn't open for us to meet at that time. So those are the items that we have in our Start Here folder that we believe give students a great start in a class. So the final thing that is included in this class that gives a student a great start is a syllabus quiz. This reinforces all the expectations that are set in the course syllabus. So alignment of learning objectives is critical in any good course design. This course is a good example of it. We've used tables and Blackboard to show the alignment of our learning objectives. This was really easy to set up. It's another great thing about Blackboard is the editing tools are fairly easy to be used. So in each week, there are course level learning objectives that will be covered and the weekly objectives that we are actually working on that week. And it shows as a comparison. Since I've added these into the class, students have stopped asking me the question of why are we learning this? And then in the assignment folders, we have the homework assignments and they're aligned to the weekly learning objectives. Again, because we have this in the class, students now understand why they're completing an assignment, what learning objectives they need to have mastered to complete an assignment. We've reached the end of my course tour. What I can tell you is to develop a good course, use the tools you have available to you in Blackboard, like the achievements, the announcements, assignment reminders, and various assessments. This helps keep a course interesting for students and promotes good interaction. I hope you've enjoyed this tour. I look forward to seeing one of your courses in 2021 as an exemplary course for Blackboard.